and welcome to today's speed build. So I am building McGregor Manor from the Peter Rabbit movie. I absolutely love this movie. I can't believe I hadn't actually seen it until like really recently. I was looking everywhere to try and find it online to see if like maybe Disney had it or Netflix. They do in other countries, but apparently not in Australia, so that was fun. But I did find it for free on YouTube, which I was very surprised about. So if anyone wants to watch it, it's on here for free. I don't know why, but it is. The second one's not, but the first one is. Anyway, I wanted to build this originally when Cottage Living was first released. This was like my, I don't know, original idea, I guess, for what I was going to build when this pack came out. And I don't know why, but I got a little bit stuck inside my own head and was like, no, somebody else is going to do it and they're going to do it so much better than me, and I just shouldn't even try, you know, which don't do that. Because I have looked ever since then for like the last month, and I haven't found anyone that's done it, and I was really surprised. I had a look on the gallery, had a look on YouTube, and there's like maybe 1 or 2 builds, but they haven't been released recently. They were all like when the movie was released in like 2018, so yeah, a little bit surprised. But I thought, well, if nobody else has done it, then I should do it. So here we are. I think I watched the movie probably like 3 times whilst I was building this. So in some places it is a little bit stop-start, where I was like constantly flicking back between here and YouTube trying to figure the floor plan out, and the interior was honestly a little bit stressful. The trouble with trying to recreate things, especially from movies, is that what I've found is that they will build the shell, like for this film they built this whole house in Centennial Park in Sydney, but then I'm pretty sure some of the scenes on the inside aren't filmed in this house. They're filmed in like separate sets because it doesn't quite line up properly. Like some of the rooms are a slightly different shape, they're slightly too big, the windows aren't quite in the right spaces, you know, so it was a little bit of a challenge trying to figure this whole floor plan out. I did eventually figure it out, and what I could try and do based on the scenes and this shell from the pictures, it only seems to have 1 bedroom, which for a house this big is just, it just seems silly to me. So I tried my best to work it so that it's actually 3 bedrooms and potentially 1 downstairs too, but we don't see in the movie where the door leads to, it's just a door. So I have decorated it as like an office space, but you could probably turn it into a bedroom if you wanted to. And the same with the 2 rooms upstairs, we see doors but we don't actually see into the rooms. So I've tried to turn them into kind of appropriate sized bedrooms. One of them is very tiny and the other one I think is okay for like a child's bedroom, but it's still quite small. I think if you put bunk beds in there, which I have done, it's okay. And yeah, the teeny tiny one I've turned into like a toddler room because it's literally like a 2x4 room. So you know, the only thing that really will fit in there is a toddler bed comfortably. But I still think it's pretty cute. There's quite a lot of open space that if you were playing in this and you kind of didn't really mind it not looking like the house from the movie, then you could probably add a lot more rooms upstairs. But the entryway and then like the lounge area it's like a double floored room. So there's so much space that you could probably turn into extra bedrooms if you wanted to, but it's just a very annoying layout to me. But anyway, we are moving on to the garden now. It doesn't really line up with the grid system that we have. It's, you know, we have limited what's the word? We are limited, sorry, with this game because of the grid system, especially when we are trying to recreate things like this, because not everything, you know, lines up with this grid system. So I had to change little bits here and there just to make it make sense for the game more than anything. But I think I did a relatively okay job. There's quite a lot of gardening space out here, and going off of the pictures that I found, it changes slightly between the first and the second film. I haven't seen the second film, so I'm not entirely sure whether like the inside of the house changes, but the garden definitely does. More specifically, just in front of this washing line is where the tomato garden is at the end of the first movie, and then in front of that where like I've put the bin, I think there's like a little garden plot, and then there's a tree, which I've ended up changing the garden plots into trees. And we don't really have anything that looks like a little greenhouse. So I've put the bin there because I figured we need a bin in the game for it to, you know, be playable anyway. And I think I've chosen the white swatch. It does have like a little light bulb on there, which is not ideal, but it's fine. I did struggle a little bit with these like fence pieces from Discover University. I wanted everything to kind of be not so much symmetrical, but I wanted it to be, you know, balanced on each side. So I wanted there to be the right amount of squares on each side. And when it came to adding these in, they didn't quite line up right. So there are little gaps in places, which probably doesn't bother anyone else, but it bothers me because I just wanted everything to be like perfect. But I did really enjoy doing this little garden area. When I come to actually landscape it like at the end, I did struggle slightly because the pictures that I found, every single picture, this garden looks different, and it's probably because they're taken at different points in filming, so it's different seasons. The plant growth is slightly different, the same with the plants on the front of the house. They're all slightly different in every single picture, so I've just done my best what I can do. Some of it I've kind of just made up myself because I wanted it to look right in the game too. So there's slightly more ivy in places and slightly less like in terms of bushes than what you might see in the pictures, just because I wanted it to look nice, you know. This greenhouse here, I end up making it quite a bit bigger. I don't think I make it any wider, but I do make it slightly longer. When I was trying to figure out the floor plan, I ended up changing most of this back area quite a lot. So then the pathway that leads to this little like flower area with the bird bath that you see in front of the greenhouse, it ends up not lining up properly, so I have to change it. But I mean, it's fine. I think it works out pretty well in the end. The car that I have put here obviously is not the right car, but we don't have the right car. So I've just chosen this nice green one from Cottage Living because I thought it looked the most appropriate. The gate that I put in front of this car is meant to be white, but I really like the Cottage Living one, so we've just gone with brown. This entryway here I really did struggle with. As you will kind of see, I end up cutting it out because I just couldn't figure it out. I tried like doing different things with the stairs, I tried with different arches, and I couldn't get it to look right. I do manage to figure it out eventually, but not until quite a bit later. But we are jumping on to the interior now. I did all of the floor plan and everything off camera because I was jumping around all over the place. Whilst I was doing this, I ended up changing half of the shell at the back, and it was just like not really watchable, so I cut most of that out. But yeah, I was watching the movie for like the 4th time whilst I was furnishing this. Some of the furniture we don't have, like this dining table I think is meant to be oval shaped, which we don't have one of those, which I'm surprised about because to me it seems like quite a normal dining table shape. But we only seem to have rectangular ones, so I've gone with one of those, which I think is okay. The room behind this one we don't see, but I'm pretty sure it's probably like a mud room or something. I've put the washing machine out there, and like a couple other entryway pieces. I've used quite a lot of bunny statues. I've put the little pig on the table in the entryway, and I put this chicken on the dining table. I wanted to include quite a lot of animals in here, which I think is quite fitting for the movie, really. Most of the shots that we see of this lounge room, it's completely trashed and there's vegetables everywhere, so I've done my best with what I can. I didn't really know what to include in terms of furniture in this room, because some shots it's covered in dust sheets, and then the rest of it it's covered in vegetables, so it's hard to really see, but I think these ones from City Living look pretty cool. Most of these shots you don't really see until nearer the end, so I have cut a little bits and pieces here out, I think, because I was literally jumping all over the place. There are a couple of decorative items that don't appear in the movie that I have just kind of placed here and there to make it look a little bit more fitting with the game, because otherwise it looked really empty and it just didn't look right to me. But I've tried to kind of keep with the same sort of style and not make it look overly cluttered, but still classy and cozy at the same time. There is a piano here, but we don't have the one in the movie, so I've kind of just made my own. The room off to the left hand side of this behind the staircase, I don't know what it is, but I've decorated it as the kitchen, and then the room to the back I've decorated as an office, but I think you could probably turn it into a bedroom if you wanted an extra one. Above this fireplace here is where Peter's mum and dad's picture is. I ended up creating my own CC and then having my sim paint a picture of the CC to create CC. Oh gosh, how many times do I want to say CC? But I looked on the gallery and I could only find one room that had Peter Rabbit pictures, and they were so blurry that I couldn't make any of them out. And I tried to find some other CC pictures of Peter Rabbit and I couldn't find any. I found one by, I think it was Saurus, but they didn't have the exact picture that I wanted, so I ended up just making my own. Never done anything like that before, so I'm pretty proud of myself. Up here, this is the only bedroom that we see. This is Thomas's bedroom. It's not really the right size or shape, but I've done my best based on the limitations that we have. This room is actually built into the roof, so the shape is not quite right. They have like slightly slanted walls, especially where this dresser is. Like, this wall isn't meant to be bumpy like that, it's meant to be slanted, and we can't do that in the game, so I've tried my best just to make it look as close to the film as I can. I had to watch the scene of him being hit in the face with a rake for about 10 minutes straight. Oh god. But it was fun, I enjoyed watching the movie. I did end up pulling this kind of hallway in here like that because there's kind of like a little bumpy bit there, but it doesn't really work out when you see the shot in the hallway of him running around the corridors. It's kind of it jumps from like one corridor to the next, so you don't see what's in the middle, so I've just kind of made it up. The same with the bathroom. We see an interior shot of the bathroom, but we don't actually see where that bathroom is located, so I've just guessed that it's at the back. But I think I did okay. So now we are on to the landscaping. There isn't honestly that much out here. I ended up, like I said, just making this up because I had no idea what it was meant to really look like. Some of the shots there's lavender, some of the shots it's all like winter and a bit kind of twiggy and dead, so I just made it up and made it look pretty. But I did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. I have planted the garden, which you will see in the tour at the end. Thomas's tomatoes I have put into like a white planter box, as you can kind of see in the corner, and the rest of it I've just kind of put a bunch of harvestables from all the games in. There's a couple of giant crops and things in there too, which I think is really cool. So it is completely playable, it is functional and on the gallery if you would like to download it. The trophy files are also on Tumblr as per usual. So I really hope that you have enjoyed today's video. So I think from now on I will be uploading on Tuesday and Friday instead of Monday and Friday, just to give me a little bit more time to do other things at the weekend. But yeah, that is pretty much it for today's video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you think, and I will speak to you all next time. Bye everyone!